welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and this time around it will be in English, of course. The last one was in German, this one is in English, and the next one will be in German again, so I'm alternating the languages. So if you are speaking only one of these languages, please have a look at the one before or the one after this episode, depending on when you are watching this, of course. And so you will have the right languages you can understand. Yeah, and in this episode I will be showing the games Fancy Blast, then Galaxy Shooter, and Swat versus Zombie, of course. My name is Gerald, and as always I have a certain setup to show you all of this, which is a Continuum setup based around my smartphone. And for input devices I'm using this mouse, for example, which is a Bluetooth mouse, of course. I will be using the Foldable keyboard, which is this keyboard. It's just a normal, more or less normal keyboard. It can be put together and stuff like that, but in the end it's a normal keyboard I'm using here to give input for a keyboard device, of course. And yeah, in general, in most of the, or in many of the episodes, not most, but many of the episodes, there is the Xbox One as wireless controller too, but in this time around, this Xbox One as wireless controller doesn't have any game that can be played with it. If you want one of the games, for example, please have a look at the previous episode, for example. There was one that can be played with this controller here. Yeah, and the most important thing of this whole setup, of course, is the smartphone, which is the Lumia 950 XL with Windows 10 Mobile, which can be used with Continuum and is Continuum enabled, of course. And it has a Mozo cover at the back of here, and as you can see we have a USB-C cable which is connected to it, and that one will be put into the display dock at the side here, and the display dock itself will be connected to the TV, and like that we can produce this kind of desktop experience on this TV here. If you want to know more about the whole setup and the process, how to do that and stuff like that, please have a look at the corner there. And in the corner you will find an info box where other videos are presented, which may answer all of your questions. I hope so. If not, please have a look at the commentary, whatever, at the bottom of this video or down this video, because there you can of course ask me some questions about the whole setup process and stuff like that if you want to know more about it. Yeah, and then I would say I have told you enough about that, and we should start with the first game. And the first game is Fancy Blast. For that I'm using my mouse, of course, and I'm going to go to the lower end of my screen here, going to go to All Apps. And now I'm going to open up Fancy Blast by just searching for it, and writing it in the right way will help, of course. Okay, so there it is. Yeah, Fancy Blast is more or less, yes, another iteration of, for example, Candy Crush or something. I like it quite much. It has a theme that is based around very known fairy tales, more or less. So, for example, the Red Riding Hood, I think it's called like that in English, I'm not sure, will be presented here, and you will play some of the very well-known fairy tales, as I told you before, as a theme in this game. But in the end, it's of course some kind of a Candy Crush game here. But it's really a nice one. It looks quite nice. It's nicely animated. There are 3D characters running around. There are, as I said before, these fancy themes and stuff like that. And it really is quite a nice iteration. If you like those kind of games, I am highly recommending you this game for that. So let's have a look at it. I will just click on play now at this point. And we will have a look. There is a daily bonus in some kind of way. I already played today, so he's giving me something, I think. Don't know what I have to do here, or maybe I already got one, I'm not sure. Yeah, probably I already got one. So we can just go back here, and as you can see, this is your play character, more or less. So she's running around and going to show you which levels you already played here. And as you can see, I'm already in level 8 at this moment, and there are going to be a lot more of them. I'm not sure how many, but you see the different style here. And after that, there are some kind of a yeah, more or less. If you are going to go to the next fairy tale, for example, you will have a new themed world, more or less. And the first one is, yeah, quite close to the Red Riding Hood. So the little girl which is going to her grandmother and will be eaten by a wolf and stuff like that. And in the end, at the moment, we are trying not to save our grandmother or something like that, but we are trying to build her house up again, because I'm not sure why it happened, but the house was destroyed, or at least there are a few parts lost here. And because of that, we have to go and try to get all the stuff together so we can play this here. Yeah, and if you are going to click on one of the levels then, because we are going to play the 8th level now, why not? And here you can see you can have some kind of a booster which have to be more or less created, or more or less yeah, opened up for you, because you have to achieve them, more or less. But at the first time you will not have any kind of booster, and you will have to try to play them free, or whatever you will call it. Yeah, but let's start the first game. As you can see, there's always this little flower in the middle, and she's already telling us what to do. We need to get the flower open. It's not like that you, for example, have to open it up by going next to it and trying to create something like that there, but it's going to be these targets, more or less, you have to accomplish here. So in the end, there are 7 of these little sorry, I don't know the word in English for that. So this kind of icon you have to get there. It doesn't matter which color the icon has, at least if the achievement here is looking like that. But in the end, it just has to be this kind of symbol you have to open up, and of course you have to get, for example, this kind of rows there where you have different symbols which are the same, of the same color, just to tell you at the moment, and like that you will have to open them up and just play this. So let's try this. He's trying to give us some ideas how to work this. You can see you can create, for example, this kind of extra level stuff, so the power-ups, more or less. And this ball we have here, we can use this. Will, for example, create a lot of other things on the map here. And without that it wouldn't quite work, because, for example, the ice blocks here, of course, can't be overcome without or can't be moved, better to say, without doing some kind of a collection game here. So let's just try it and see what he's trying to tell us here. At the start you will get a lot of help to solve the puzzles, and it's really not hard to do. As you can see, we have some kind of a turn number here, so 15 turns are left at the moment, and we just have to accomplish 3 of these icons here more, so just see what we can do here. In the end, at the start at least, it's not that hard to play, but of course the difficult level will increase with the higher levels, of course. So let's see what we can do here. And 6 of 7, we just need 1 more at the moment. Let's see what we can do. For instance, he's telling us to do that. Just to mention it, in most of the games that you are playing here, you shouldn't really go with what he is telling you there, because it's often not the best way to work this level up. Not always, sometimes it's working, but in this case it might not have been the best idea to do that, but who cares, more or less, because it's really easy to work this at the moment. Okay, so what we want to do here is we need to get this. This was bad. I wanted to get those orange stuff down here so I could use that, but at the moment I didn't have the power there. Here, for example, is another thing he is telling you, which could be a good thing, because now we are getting an oil, and this oil is going to help you a lot, because it's... we don't even need it, so now we just got that. Now the flower can be opened here, and now we get our small little whatever we are searching for at the moment. So this was a house in this case. Now we are getting this fancy glass stuff, so everything is going to be solved here for us. And there we are. As you can see, we have very nice little and quite sweet paintings here, and it's really nicely done, I think. And like that we get some kind of an place more or less, so the best players, how many or how much points they achieved at this point, and like that we can have a look how good we were. And you can see there was this little small animation again where the little guy here, or the little girl, better to say, walked around. Now we should rate this game, I will do that later. And yeah, so we can go on, and there are several different things you will for example do. For example, this flowers here. This is just that the flowers will only open up and be thrown away or whatever after a while, so you can't kill those or open those up with just one combination next to them, but you will have to get all of them open, and I think it's at this stage we need 3 of the combinations next to them, but we will see. Just to see, here you can see it's opened up a little, but it's not opened up enough, so we need more of that. And it of course has to be next to them, and after a while, as you can see, those will grow open or grow to the fullest, and like that we get those little kind of roses here. We have 7 of them now, we need 25 of them, and that's of course a little bit more than before, and because of that it's harder to play this game. But in the end, as you can see, it's quite equal to many of the other games we have seen over the years, which are more or less the same as this. But if you're a casual gamer and you like this kind of game, you should have a look at it. It really is a nice one and a nice iteration, because it's really well done. It's really a nice one with great animations, with quite nice fairy tale stories around it and stuff like that. You should have a look at it. It really is a nice one. Okay, so I would say I have shown you enough of this game now, so let's go to the next one. The next one is called Galaxy Shooter, and this one is more or less top-down spaceship shooter, whatever. It's quite interesting that they got it to work that great as it does, because it's, I think, an HTML game. But still, it's really very nice performing game, and because of that I wanted to show you what this is all about. So, it's called Galaxy Shooter, or if you open it up, it will be called in a different way. And I have, of course, to write it right, and then there we are. And Galaxy Shooter is, as I said before, quite a fast game, quite nicely done, I think. Here is this HTML5 icon I told you about, and HTML5 is a web technology. So in the end, I think this is more or less based on HTML5, which is quite astonishing how performant this game really is about that. So let's have a look at the options here. There's not much to see. It's all about sound, to just shut it down or shut it up or turn it on. And there we can have a look at the guy who created this. So yeah, just see it here. It's a Wii game more or less. And then we can have a look at the game itself. It's really quite easy to play. It's quite interesting, as I said. You just use your mouse, click on the spaceship here, and of course you have to see that you are not going to be killed by the other enemies which are coming down from above. You just achieve some kind of a score here with the game, and it's not too easy, especially because the guys are coming quite close to you, and you of course have to defend everything here as good as you can. You may... Now we lost one of our lives, I think, because we killed something or got hit by one of the guys. If you like this fast-paced games, this is quite a nice iteration of that. As you can see, it's really short, because you are going to die quite a lot and quite early in this game. If you, for example, want to have this kind of game and you want to play it a little bit more slow-paced or whatever, you can, for example, have a look at my own game, which is called Wingman. It's available in the store too. I will probably give you a link in the info box to the video where I'm showing that game. And as you can see, I'm dying quite a lot. At the upper left corner, of course, it's too fast to show you while I'm playing this game. At the upper left corner you can of course see the lives we have. We have 3, I think, at the start, and you are just trying to get the highest score out of it. So just try to hold...
Start your game and play the strongest word you can. Need more tiles? Spin or level
Okay,
up.
so we have the first time around I have some kind of a an advertisement here, and it seems like we can't play the game after that because the advertisement is a little bit shifted to the wrong direction, but doesn't matter. It really opens up at quite fast speed, and so we can just go to a new game and try it again. And now I'm trying to live a little bit longer here. Okay, they got me again. And it's more or less for people who like, for example, Xenon or Raptor or something like that, from the early days of the computer games, of course. I think this is quite a nice iteration of this kind of game because it's really fast-paced, and people like fast-paced games in this kind of fashion most of the time. And you really should have a look at it if you like this kind of game, and you're more talented in it than I am, for example, because I can't play this game very long. But at least I got a few points out of it, and just have a look if you like it or not. I think you can have a look at it, and if you don't like it, please have a look at Wingman. It might be more of your style. And Wingman is a little bit more complex than this game because there are different weapons available, there are different spaceships available and stuff like that. But in the end, it's quite a nice iteration of this game style too. Yeah, and so let's have a look at the third game in this episode. The third game is called Swat vs. Zombie. And I like this game quite a lot. It's more or less a survival game, which is very astonishing if it's a zombie game, of course. But the survival game here is really a nice one, and you just have to place different soldiers to defend you from different zombie groups which are coming and trying to kill you. And the whole aim of the game is that no zombie will ever reach the left side of your screen here, because if that is happening, you have lost that. There are different levels in this game too, and it's quite nicely done. I will just go to play now. You can of course shut down the music and the sound if you want to, but in the end I want to leave it like that. And you see it's really quite nicely painted, and a good 2D iteration and game for that. And here are different things we can click on, of course. We can shop for different equipment for our stuff. We can have a look at the library to see, for example, different enemy types and what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. There are quests we can have a look at, or we just go to units to have a look at our unit composition, for example. And as you can see, we only have 2 units at the start, or better to say, I'm in the second level or something. So in the second level or something, you only have these 2 units. You can see them at the top here. And of course, those have different possibilities to be upgraded. And of course, they have different things that you have to think about, because of course if you play, you have, for example, this gold stuff, and the coins you have to invest into putting one of the soldiers there will have a different, will of course be more or less charged from you. It's all the time recharged if you restart the game or the level at least. And like that, you can of course go on, and it will of course get higher and higher. So it's it's quite a game which is quite equal to, for example, a tower defense game or something. Or in these situations, maybe something like Clash of Clans or something like that can be told it's as some quite equal game. But let's have a look at the game itself. So I'm going to go back here. We are not going to, or can we? Let's see. I think I am able to, for example, increase the attack speed here. So let's do that. Now we don't have any kind of stars anymore. So stars are given for just solving one of the levels here, of course. And after that, you can see here are the different levels we can play. I'm at level 5 at the moment, so let's play that. I will turn around a little bit because otherwise I can't see it good enough to play this game, and you have to be a little bit fast to play this game. So you can see there are the zombies coming around, and these are more or less our soldiers, and by dragging them to a certain position we can just put them somewhere and try to defend ourselves from those. There are some kind of power-ups more or less like this, which will help us with that, and it might be that I'm even losing this game before we are at a certain point here, because this zombie is quite fast. We can try to collect those, but yeah, it's over. That guy will come through, so it's not the right tactic for this level, and we have to replay this. Okay, so as you can see, you just move your soldiers somewhere, and of course you have to be careful what you are doing there. And you can of course place them only on these little icons which are shown there. And I think I already did it again and killed myself again. Very probably, at least. We can of course just collect those. Oh, let's see. Yeah, this was fast enough, but quite unlikely that we will solve this anyway. Oh, and just to tell you, you have to reload in between, otherwise your guys can't hit these times. And you can see there are different zombies coming at you. For example, this guy is quite heavily armed, so if he is close to you, you will die, and of course I'm dying there too. So let's play it again. I think we can't use this guy. He is just too much for my coins here, because he is just too expensive for that. So let's see what we can do if we just put in, for example, 3 of those, each on one of the passes. The problem, for example, with this guy with the shield is that he can't really give the enemy some kind of damage there, so he's very, very low on attack power, or whatever you want to call it. But this is looking a little bit nicer here. So to give those guys up there a little bit of a chance, for example, I'm trying to give this more power there. Click on the guys if they need to be reloaded, of course, otherwise they can't kill the enemy. Yeah, this time around we will at least last a little bit longer. Let's see how long, I'm not sure, but it should work out this time. Yeah, I think so. And I think we just solved the level. Not yet, but I'm quite sure we should be good this time around. Yeah, I think it would could be okay. You see, this guy is more or less a blocker. So what he can do with it is just withstand this zombie quite a long time. And like that, need to update that guy there. Put this up. Collect this. Yeah, I think we should be fine. This time around it should work. Yeah. Oh no. I'm not sure what happened. Somewhere some guy seems to have gone through or something. Not sure what happened there. Let's try it again. Okay, we are going to go with the same strategy, of course. Maybe there's some kind of counter, so that this shouldn't be running full or something. Interesting, because I didn't see that before. And as you can see, you have to be quite careful with it and have a look that everything is working on here. Especially since I'm quite near to the screen, it's hard for me to do that, but it doesn't really matter. Even if we are losing this, it's all about fun, right? So, just collect those. Oh, and just to let you know, there is this kind of update stuff. So if you hold your mouse on one of the guys who has this information there, you can update that. But now I think we should have won this, yeah. Now we won it, and as you can see there's a new unit which we got, seems to be some kind of a sniper or something, and this one will be available in the next level for us and can be played. Yeah, and so let's have a look at the next one. There's a new skill we got too. So might be interesting to see what they can do. The whole game is all about having new units which are of course attacking you or which are coming to you there. We will put him quite far behind for that. Yeah, he has a quite high range to be played there. Okay, I will lose this now. I think this one has to be used in the right way. I'm not sure what this one is about. I think he will freeze the enemy for some time, so I have some time more to get everything set up or something. But quite interesting, so let's have a look again.
Ready. Go.
So I will put up a sniper first off, and then put up something to defend the sniper, of course. And after that I'm going to put up one of the standard players here. let's see, we need something in the first row there, which might be quite hard to do already, because I'm not getting money fast enough for that. So I'm trying to freeze this one. Yeah, it's freeze, but it's not very long, as you can see. Too short for me, doesn't really help us. I would have to have gotten that earlier, but in the end, this is how you play the game. This is how you really try to get out or to get to know what you have to do here. You just have to play it. You will lose sometimes, but this is all about the game, right? So let's go back to the menu here. And as you can see, there are a lot of different units available. If I go to the units here, we can have a look at different things too. So as you can see, there are at least, 8 kind of units available in this game. You will have to defend your hometown or something with your Swat units. It's not really Swat if you ask me, but whatever. And like that, you have to defend your hometown against the zombies, and that's why the name is there. Yeah, and of course, if we go back, we can have a look at different things here. For example, let's have a look at the quests. Quests are just some kind of achievement, more or less. So you have to, for example, kill some kind of zombie stuff here, so a count of zombies. You will have to freeze something for a couple of times, and for that you will receive more and more points, more and more achievement points and experience points, of course. As you can see, we are using some kind of a power, so we can't play on anyway. In the next 13 seconds it will be solved here for us, and we can play again one of the games. But you can see there is some kind of energy you are wasting there, and we can have a look at the shop, for example, where you can, for example, get these kind of experience points, and of course the hard stuff for sale. I will not buy something like that. I'm not a bigger fan of some kind of pay to win or something. I really want to play it and fight it as everybody else, and then just defeat the enemy. That's what the game is all about, right? Not buying something to get everything done here for me. Yeah, and of course we can have a look at the skills too. Skills, you already saw 2 of them. So the first one was this kind of damage, so more or less a mine we are going to put on the ground, or a bomb. And the second one is more or less just the freeze time we saw already. You can increase those stuff, so if you want to, for example, have a higher freeze time or something, not only 2 seconds but longer, then you can of course buy that with this diamond, but I'm not going to do that now because I don't have enough diamonds, and I don't know what other stuff I may need that for. Yeah, and as I told you before, library tells you a lot about the enemy, so you can, for example, see what this kind of guy does. The first time he is running around, you can, for example, in the game itself, see a little information icon up there. So if you click on the enemy, you get some kind of an information there. And here you can see the attack speed of this is quite high, the health is quite high, the damage is something middle. And cannot be freezed is something that is very important to know. I didn't know that neither. And so you can get some information about your enemies here too, which should help you a lot if you are playing this game extensively. Yeah, and this is more or less what I can show you about this game. Please have a look at it if you like it, and just download it for free from the Windows Store, of course. It's quite a nice game, and you should have a look at it if you like this kind of games. Yeah, and with that said, that was the last game I wanted to show you in this episode, and that ends this episode. I hope you had fun with the episode. I hope you have seen some of the games that you may want to play here. And please, of course, if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you didn't subscribe till now, you may want to consider that to be informed about the next video, of course, that I'm uploading. I'm uploading in general at the weekend, at Saturday or Sunday, around that time at least. And then you will get a new episode each week from Continuum Gaming, with more Continuum Gaming enabled games, of course. Yeah, and then I would say thanks for listening. Thank you for watching, of course. If you have any kind of questions, please put them in the commentary section below, and then I would say, see you next time. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and have a nice week till the next episode. Bye!